Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dar Talks. This is our very first podcast, and I'm so honored and humbled to have our very first guest who needs no introduction, but of course, I would love for her to introduce
Thank you.
herself. So I'm going to throw it over to you, Wala.
Thank you so much for having me. Layla, mashallah, she's a beautiful person. And from the moment I met her, I knew it wasn't going to be a one-off meeting. And when she invited me to the podcast, I couldn't say no. So my name is Wala Abu Eid. I did pharmacy straight out of school, worked in it for a year, before realizing it wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I switched careers and completed my master's of teaching, and I currently work as a casual slash part-time primary school teacher. During that time, I did start a home-based business, a self-taught baker, so started selling cakes and desserts and stuff. That has come to an end because it got a
Unfortunately,
bit too much. It got out of hand. But I do still post a lot of my cakes and desserts and cooking on social media. And I do have a public platform that alhamdulillah has grown over the past couple of years.
has skyrocketed.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
And yeah, so the place that introduced you to me.
Absolutely, absolutely. I've always regarded Wala as a beautiful beacon in our community, and she has such a pure and honest voice. And I love that she allows for people to have snippets into her family life in such an appropriate, beautiful way.
Yeah, so when they ask me what do you do on social media, I like to summarize it as lifestyle blogging. So it's literally my life, snippets of it on social media. So if I'm on a holiday, you're seeing the holiday. If I'm cooking, you're seeing the cooking. If I'm whatever it is, like taking my kids when they were younger to play groups and libraries and doing activities with them, that's what you were seeing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just
real.
It's my followers have grown with me. Yeah. So many changes have happened over the years, and yeah, that's kind of always reflected in what you see on my social media.
I do believe your platform has evolved beautifully
Yeah.
and naturally, which is amazing. I guess I've shied away from social media for a little bit, not for any purpose other than I've just been really tried to focus on the clinical work. And, I had a baby.
Yeah.
She's not a baby anymore. She's 3 years.
Still a baby, still a baby.
They'll always be our babies.
It's true, yeah.
That's true. I'm the clinical director here at daar. It's funny because my first degree was in commerce, and anyone that knows me knows I actually hate numbers, and
Wow.
it's my weak point. Like anything to do with accounting, it would just make me cry.
It's very interesting that you chose to get into commerce then.
I think nobody knows who they are at 17, 18, and we're expected to then know what we want to do the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
I think you're a testament to that as
Yeah.
well. I mean, pharmacy is such an amazing and competitive thing to get into, and it just wasn't who you were.
And it's very different. The studying is sometimes very different to the workplace.
Yes, I agree.
Thoroughly enjoyed my degree. It was amazing. Learned so much. I really enjoyed the science. I enjoyed the maths. So for me, it was it made sense, calculating dosages and where the medication goes in your body and how it comes out, and all that was so interesting. But when I worked in pharmacy, I found that I didn't use much of that knowledge that I studied, and I was more of a dispensing technician. Dispensing machine, and that wasn't satisfying. Like you feel like you want to do something that satisfies the soul, that you feel like you've impacted people, you've helped them in a certain way. And unfortunately, pharmacy in Australia doesn't allow you to do that.
Yes, it is very regulated and limiting to what you can do. I do hear overseas and cases like Amman, it is different.
Like you'll have
I feel like they're borderline doctors over there.
100%. Like no one comes to you for clinical advice. I go to the doctor, they come in with a script, just hand me my medication.
Exactly.
And yeah, it just you feel like what's the purpose of my existence? Why am I doing this?
Yeah. So you had a higher calling anyway, which is great.
No, I didn't enjoy it, subhanAllah. And then I didn't think I'll ever be interested in teaching. But I was doing tutoring on the side as well, which later on when I started looking at the options, I'm like, hang on, I really enjoy teaching. I was teaching primary school students, I was teaching high schoolers, math, science, biology, chemistry. Some students, they were with me from year 7 to graduation, till year 12, and it's just so satisfying. Knowing that you have impacted them when they come to you and they say, oh my God, I didn't understand this, and thanks to your explanation, Miss, now I get it. I get it. I get it. And that moment, I get it. It's like, okay, you've left an impact on them for the rest of their life. So I'm like, yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah, you wanted that impact, and you thought you were getting it with pharmacy, but you did eventually find the platform, multiple platforms, and I guess that was the same for me. I think there was a maybe a prestige to commerce that everyone was like, "Oh, it's this job," but it again, the reality
Yeah.
was very, very different. Then I went in to do my undergrad in psychology, which again, I didn't find very satisfying because, all your listeners out there that did the undergrad in psych, there isn't enough connection to the reality of what you're doing either. There's no placement in the undergrad, and it's very old school coursework. Like people are still studying Freud and Jung. It's so silly, right? And sorry to bring
Connected
on
from
the controversy,
yeah.
but it doesn't make there's no relevance now. So then I went on to do another master's in counseling and rehabilitation, which was immensely satisfying. It was more real life, like you could get in and actually help and support
Yeah.
people. That was a bit more medical based. Like I got to do way more time, spend more time in autism and ADHD and understanding the foundations of disability and support. So that was an amazing foundation. And then eventually I did another master's whilst pregnant. Whilst
I love
pregnant.
how we both did our masters while pregnant.
Yeah, it's unforgettable, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then people are like, "How did you do it?" And I don't know how I did have, like, pregnancy brain, but somehow we just get
Yeah.
through it. And then my last semester of that master's, I gave birth
Oh,
and then
amazing.
went and then a month later, I've started the last semester. So you're still, like, in recovery mode.
But it's good.
Mother
It kind of gets your brain off just the struggles of motherhood, I guess.
I
Like you
agree.
kind of because I started my master's degree with one child and I graduated with three of them. I went
Oh,
through
that's
two
beautiful.
childbirths. But the last one was quite difficult. After every child, I go to my mom's and I stay there for a couple of weeks, and she does all the showering the baby and helping if I need help and stuff like that. SubhanAllah, after the third one, I had an assignment due, and I was at my mum for like a couple of days, and then my uncle passed away at Late Hamel overseas. So she goes, I have to go down for the Azah. I'm like, Mama, you're leaving me with three children.
An
And
assignment draw.
and okay, I have a husband, but my husband was also on a work trip. So like he just witnessed the childbirth and he had to leave. So I was literally left with three children and three siblings, two of them who were not married at the time. And I was like I'm the oldest. So it was like, what am I doing to myself? But subhanAllah, I managed
You
to
get
get through.
through it,
And
alhamdulillah.
yeah, I don't know how that semester was completed, but when Allah puts you through a situation, He knows that you're capable of doing it.
Absolutely.
We overthink things sometimes, and we're like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but you hang in there, you will be able to.
Absolutely.
Subhanallah.
Absolutely. I had another mum in my master's program who had two children with autism and she was working full time. So for me, I was like, I'm going through nothing
When you compare yourself,
comparing to
yeah,
this. I guess in a good way, you want to look at and
yeah,
say
it's
like
true.
and say, yeah, it's not as hard. Like, of course, like I had my mom thought it was just
Yeah.
obviously I only had one at the time. Very helpful. And then I went back to work full time at 6 weeks, and I brought her to work full time for a year. She sat in my office in a portable, the travel cots. I put her in there,
The
and she was fine
mashallah.
from like the first year. Fariha used to sleep. After that, no, the child does not like to sleep. She doesn't sleep. But look, alhamdulillah, like we said, we get through it, and
Mm.
like we all have our path. Like Allah has already
Yeah.
made a beautiful path for all of us, and calling was always going to be behavior analysis. Now, of course, behavior analysis does stem from psychology, but it is a standalone.
And you're mentioning it's quite a new degree, like
Yes, it is.
it's not a
In Australia, behavior analysis is only about 6 years old. So before that, a lot of my mentors either trained in America or the UK, but Australia now has its own master's program. So Monash and Griffith are now two universities that do it. So I did mine through Monash, and I'm still quite affiliated with them. And all of my mentors teach in the master's program. So that's just a benefit to our clients as well, that
yeah.
they're getting such live, up to date, the newest research in behavior analysis. And of course, we're always researching, we're always going to the conferences. So they're just getting the
That's
best version of behavior
good.
analysis.
Yeah.
And for all the psychs out there too, like to become a certified behavior analyst is actually quite hard. It's 2,000 hours of field work that is supervised. So it's different. It's not like you get to count 40 hours of work week.
Yeah.
That's not. how they count it. Like the max you can count for the month is anywhere between 80 to 120 hours for the whole month. So even if you worked full time, it still takes
Doesn't
a
count.
really long time. Yeah, they don't count your work hours. They count your supervised ratio of work hours, which is very complicated. And then you have to get endorsement, and then your coursework has to be endorsed. So it's just a long process. So again, I just want to put it out there, especially with such a prolific platform as yours, is that to be wary of people calling themselves behavior analysts or behavior therapists.
Yeah.
You do need a certification for it.
100%.
So whilst, for example, psych is regulated by APRA, behavior analysts are not regulated by APRA. So
Okay,
it's just very important. And you would know from your pharmacy day,
yeah,
how
has to get regulated
APRA.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very strict. So it's very important for parents out there to really do the research and get the right people. Obviously, I'm hoping everyone can see the passion I have for behavior analysis. It is the ultimate approach. Well, like, well, I can't tell you, like, I've been around for so long researching all these other disciplines. And I know we've spoken about, whilst we respect all allied health, and you coming from allied health yourself in pharmacy, it's so important to understand what's going to work for your family and your children. And Australia is only now catching up with how important behavior analysis is. I'm not going to say it answers everything. No, no one can answer everything, but it just makes so much more sense. And for everyone out there, Awala's going to do a rapid fire question of me soon, but we just wanted everyone to feel like they had a good introduction to behavior analysis. And I want to also emphasize that it is a scientific based approach. And there's no one size fits all. A lot of the basis is for us to investigate the function. So I know we were talking earlier about the word tantrums.
Yeah.
Every child has a tantrum, but what we try to educate parents on and families on is it's more emotional dysregulation. They're having a moment. Maybe they don't know how to communicate. Maybe they don't want to communicate. So we have to allow for them to have that space. And it's really important to have our kids on board. Remember how important it is to have the assent. We want them to actually enjoy doing what
So we were saying earlier, it's not a thing of like getting their tick of approval, but rather having them be happy with your choice and your decision. So sometimes it involves a lot of giving and taking, and discussions and conversations, and it is mentally draining a lot of the times.
Yes.
But the outcome is so worth it.
Yeah.
So instead of the child being dragged along without them wanting to do this thing or not wanting to be there, the child is happy to now join, and it's like, yeah, I get it, I understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's really important that we also factor in time to have these discussions, because I know a lot of parents, the issue is time and having those time constraints. Of course, we have all these time constraints. Fair enough. And I totally understand that. But a 5-minute additional conversation and just preparing them for the day, or the difference in, okay, I'm not going to go to Teta's house today.
Yeah.
And why, or we're going to this shopping center or this mall today.
Yeah.
It's just important to make
You know
it
what?
part of it.
Yesterday I was teaching and I had like this thing. We had an incursion. Okay, so like outside facilitators come in and teach kids about relationships and all these things. But there was an issue where the kids were not told why they are doing these tasks beforehand. So it's like, okay, now you're going to run when I say run, jump when I say jump, clap when. And like a kid lifted his hands, like, why are we doing this activity, sir? He goes, oh, I'll tell you at the end. The kids were doing it with no purpose, and they were so confused, and they're like, this is wasting our time. So it's similar to what you were just saying, like letting kids know what we're going to do before we do the thing makes a huge impact on how they perceive the task and their enjoyment of it, and the value and what they take from it. When this is not communicated to the kid, they can very well feel lost and uninterested.
They have no buy-in. They have no purpose. So why would they do it? I always explain it to parents as well. Like I give a really great example of, if you were on your phone doing something, whether it's sending an email or you were doing a social media post, if I came over and just snatched that phone off you, how would you feel?
Yeah, absolutely not.
You're doing that to your child. It's not an appropriate way. I get that we get frustrated as adults, but we can regulate better than them. We've had time to understand how to regulate our emotions. I get that you're like, get off the phone, get off the phone.
Yeah.
There's this repetition from us.
Yeah.
The moment you ask a child to stop something after the third or fourth time, there's a risk of emotional abuse. I'm not saying you're abusing your child.
Yeah.
And I know this word sounds controversial, but you have to go over, okay, say bye-bye to the phone. You've got a countdown. And look, devices are a whole nother thing that we're going to
Yeah.
go through in a
Yeah.
moment. But you have to have their consent and assent. It's so much more
And also,
valuable.
like, setting the expectation in advance. Like, it could be managed in a way where there's 10 minutes of this now, and then after that,
Exactly.
that's it. So the child wouldn't be surprised once those 10 minutes are over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is a different generation. I know you and I were talking about that we're dealing with a whole different kettle of fish, and there's
100%.
no textbook for each one of our kids. And there shouldn't be this expectation that I did it when I was younger, they're going to do it. Or I ate it when I was younger.
Yes.
And please don't get me started on McDonald's and KFC
Yeah.
because I understand they're on the boycott list right now, which is good for two reasons. Boycotting them and also because it's so unhealthy for us and there are alternatives. I'm not saying to stop all hot chips consumption or to stop all chicken or nuggets consumption, but there are different options. And your platform is also such an advocate for that proper cooking or healthier options. But when we were young and we had McDonald's, it only had the ingredients for potatoes was potato and beef tallow and salt. Now, if you look at the ingredients of what goes into the Macca's fries, it is like alarming.
Yeah.
And we're just putting all this processed food and sugars into our kids' system. And of course, it's going to appear like they're naughty or dysregulated or
Yeah.
they're not listening. It's really important to understand what we're putting in our child. But again, we'll definitely talk about that because, again, behavior analysis ties in everything that's in the environment. This is what behavior analysis is. We want to look at everything that could be possibly
impacting
them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Alrighty. So we're going to maybe go on to some rapid fire.
Yes.
Final questions. Go for it. I'm always ready for you. Go for it.
Okay. So first question is, what can I do if my child has a meltdown in public?
I love this question. I feel like I get this question
All the time.
all day. And I definitely get it from parents, but I also get it from a lot of educators and a lot of teachers as well. Let's take a moment to just break it down because the question is not as simple as what do I do in the moment? If I can, I'd like to take a step back.
Yeah.
In public and they've already in the middle of an emotional dysregulation episode or a tantrum, in that moment, don't bother to try to get them to calm down per se. It's far too late. Everyone's like, what do you mean it's far too late? My job is not about just getting them to calm down. Of course, I want them to stay safe in public, at school, at the clinic. I want them to stay safe. But I have to understand what would have dysregulated them to start off with.
Yeah.
And so in behavior analysis, we have this really beautiful analogy that we have to spend more time on the antecedent, like a seesaw. So on the seesaw up here, we have the antecedent. And down here, we have the behavior. I want to spend more time having fun in the air up here in the seesaw and less time on the behavior because the behavior is the tantrum. It's the thing that we don't want our kid to do. It's the embarrassing behavior. If I spent more time, like we were saying before, hey, mama, we're going to go here. Hey, mommy, we're not going to go in this shop today, but on the weekend, we're going to go here. Just talking them through what to expect and also understanding what is that trigger. So many kids, whether they have a diagnosis or don't have a diagnosis, loud noises and new places can be very overwhelming.
Yeah.
So it's also about what am I going to do beforehand? All right, let's jump fast forward. Let's say we're in the moment and we just need to do something. Please do not reward or bribe your children because I can't tell you how much it's going to encourage the replication of that behavior over and over and over again.
That's very interesting. Yeah.
Reward and bribery are a big no-no. The word we want to use and the strategy we want to use is reinforcement. We want to reinforce that if you calm down, this is where we're going to go. If you calm down, this is what we're going to do.
Yes.
It's not about, here's my iPad, stop that now. Or here's an ice cream, stop that now. It's about, all right, let's talk about your feelings, let's talk about your emotions. And especially when I deal with nonverbal, what am I doing? I have my picture exchange communication ready to go for parents. I tell them to take it everywhere with them. There's so many strategies other than bribery. I can guarantee you, if you bribe your child to stop, they will stop,
And
and
they'll
they're going
redo
to
it
do it
again.
again
Wow,
and
that's
again
interesting.
and again. If you reinforce positively, of course, because positively we want to be able to give them something. Like
Yeah.
we still want to feel like it's a reward, but if you're rewarding and bribing, I'm doing bribery, it's not going to work. You're not reinforcing the replication of the behavior you want, right? And remember, behavior analysis is not about changing that person. It's just allowing them to be the best version of themselves. And if we're both upset, we're not the best version of
100%.
ourselves.
100%.
So when that
Yeah.
child is having a tantrum on the floor in the middle of Coles or Woolies or, in the kiosk, you just want them to stop. But if I can say something to parents is, don't stop them by bribery,
That's a very important.
There's a really great example of when a child sees their mother every time, he always goes up to her and asks for money. Every time he sees his father, doesn't bother to ask for money. Because historically speaking, the father has always said, no, not right now. What have you done your homework? Let me see your homework. For this child in particular, mum would always just give him a $5 note.
Yeah.
And then he would go buy something from the shops, or she would give him gaming credit, whether it's Roblox or all of those. Please, I'll get started on all those gaming gaming in the next firing question. So I hope I've been able to give a bit more a clarity as
No,
to
that's
please
very interesting.
don't
I
bribe.
feel like it's a natural reaction to bribe
Yes.
sometimes, like through candy or whatever other examples you've given. But it does make sense. Like the
Yeah.
child's gonna be like, okay, I'm doing this again to get whatever I want again.
Yeah, they will keep doing it because it's a learned behavior. And if I can say something else about food as well, is if you're going to reinforce, remember, so we want to reinforce. If you reinforce, reward, or bribe with food, you're going to create an unhealthy relationship with food for that child. And they're going
Like
to
I
think
need
it's
to do this
conditional.
in order to get this. And yeah,
Exactly. So we have this concept of the pre-MAC rule in behavior analysis. It's basically first then.
yeah.
First we do this, then we do that.
I like.
And a lot of parents take that after we tell them, and like, first you do your homework, then you can have your ice cream. And it's like, the pre-MAC rule is not about
Food.
a food reward because you did a bit of your homework. It's about, okay, let's get outside and do an activity that you like a preferred activity. It's about correctly reinforcing and
I
understanding what will be reinforcing. I can't assume every child likes an ice cream. Like my child, she wants an ice cream, she takes a lick and gives it to her dad.
yeah. That's true.
It's different for every child.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers everyone.
Yes. That was very
Try not to bribe in the moment. Try to reinforce. Let them finish.
yeah.
No, believe me, and everyone out there, no one's looking at you and your child having a tantrum.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
So keep on walking and keep doing what you need to do, because your sanity is very important as a
Yeah.
parent as well.
Yeah, I can imagine how stressful it would be in that situation, but you don't want to do something that will negatively impact the behavior
Exactly.
in the long run.
Exactly. All right. What else have you
All
got
right,
for me?
next question. How can I teach my child to self-regulate?
Oh, again, a very good question. I love this question. So, let's also be honest. Let's talk about age brackets as well. Did you know that you're not expected to be able to have the cognitive and executive function to be able to share until the age of 9 without adult reinforcement or direction?
Oh, wow.
I think we're all expected to have our kids go do that, share. Why are you being naughty? Why are you doing that? It's just such a myth that kids have to do all of these things by themselves. So first of all, when we're talking about early intervention, we're talking about kids that are 5 and under for early, that's super early intervention. Now there's been a reclassification of 7 and 9 being part of that early intervention, which to be honest, I completely agree with. I still think 9 and under is still early intervention because there's still so much we have to teach them. In order to help with self-regulation, we have to understand the function. Why? Okay. So if they want a toy or they want something, especially if they're out in the shops, you have to teach them, okay, what are we doing? Whether it's blowing out the candles. I do love the blowing out the candles. Let's have a moment.
Yeah.
Blow it out. and then we do these ones, and we do the tracing of our fingers, and we go, okay, mummy first, we do these ones. Okay, put our hands together. Let's do it together. I have like a rainbow breathing exercise that parents have, like it's this big, the PEX card, and then they trace the rainbow and they go, all right, let's take a moment. And it's all these strategies that you can use at home,
Yeah.
at school, in the shopping center. And again, it's not to make anyone feel embarrassed by getting out your PEX card. It's this big, and it's whatever your child needs from you.
Yeah, you need
And
to see what works for them. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. If they're having a moment where it's too much sensory,
Mm.
you have to understand, okay, in order to help them self-regulate, you need to withdraw that demand or withdraw that sensory input. If they're sensory seeking, which a lot of our kids tend to be seeking, like they love water or they love lights, and that's why we do a lot of vivid
Yeah.
workshops and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But then you have to introduce that. What's going to be regulating for them? There's no one size fits all, as I was saying before. So I can't say, okay, do the rainbow exercise, that will self-regulate.
Yeah.
We have to get to
Depends on
know
the child
our
100%.
child, our children. It's really important. Again, setting them up for successes and then reinforcing it. And don't withhold reinforcement. I don't mean give them a toy. You did a great job, mom. That was really great. That was Praise them. High five.
I understand how important that is in the classroom. Like even when the child is struggling so much and they just get half a question correct, like that positive reinforcement, it makes a huge difference. Otherwise, the child will feel like they are so behind and they're not understanding and they're so dumb. Like when they say, "I'm so dumb," breaks my heart. No, you're not. So that if the teacher doesn't give them that positive reinforcement, then they're gonna feel like that and they're not even gonna try in the future.
Exactly. Another way that I really implement this in the classroom is token economies and helping them self-regulate through token economies, because it's such a visual aid. It's such a visual space. And some of the schools that we're working with have been beautiful, and they really started adopting that into like a bigger classroom initiative. And token economies is where we understand what's going to incentivize them,
Yeah.
right? What's going to reinforce them. And for especially bigger kids, I want to make it a little bit harder. Like you got to work for it a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I'll make a token economy board that has 6 days worth of, you've got to work for it for 6 days. And then the last day is maybe go out to the park. And for example, schools in the classroom, they'll have like Monday to Thursday, and then Friday they might get like a reward.
Yeah.
And one of the schools I'm working with has a big tree, and they put the kid's name up as they keep getting theirs. So I do want to warn everyone, the way to use a token economy for self-regulation and reminding them is you don't want to take away something that they've achieved, okay? So some of the teachers were trying to use it, but we had to just give them a bit of that re-education of, you don't take a token away that they've achieved.
Yeah.
They earned
They
that.
can only build upon what they already have.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I said, but the teachers are like, but they don't understand the consequences of the behavior. They do, because they didn't go up.
Yeah.
But if you take him down, you've taken something
it's
he did
damaging.
earn away, and you're going to reduce his motivation to try again. You can simply say, okay, you didn't move up. Let's try again in an hour. And you'll see that they respond. And again, that sense of regulation, it like as in the dysregulation goes down and regulation goes up. And so you can remind them, remember your token economy, we're working hard towards it. But just remember, don't take away, just reinforce. Do you want to achieve it? How do we achieve it? Let's keep going.
Yeah.
So there's so many ways, but let's just always remember, customize it. You have 3 beautiful girls, mashallah. They're not going to all have the same token economy for it.
Yeah, very different.
Exactly. Exactly. So again, behavior analysis is always about customizing self-regulation as well.
All right, ready for the next one?
Yes.
Why does my child hit or scream when I say no?
Oh, the questions today are just amazing. Okay. What I've found in my clinical practice, I don't want to talk as a mom today. I need to talk as a clinician.
Professional.
The word no has become an antecedent, a trigger. So the moment a parent or a caregiver or like a grandma or anyone is saying no, they're unable to hear this word.
Wow.
We used to live on the word no. I feel like when we were growing up, it was like, I want this no. And we would have to just carry on and keep going. Now it's a completely
Mm.
different, like as we were saying, different kettle of fish, a different environment. The word no has just been such a trigger, and I wanted to take a moment for parents to understand, okay, we're not trying to appease them and give in to them. Remember, we're saying that
Yeah.
they're not dictating. We're still the parent, and we're not trying to be their best friends. And I love the term you use. It's not their ticket of approval, but what we want to do is think about our approach. We want to be,
So say the no in a different way.
yeah,
In a
exactly.
way
It's
where
still a no.
yes,
It's still a no
not
for us.
yeah, not as firm or not as triggering to the
Exactly.
child.
It's not going to be a
Mm.
trigger. Again, you're setting them up for success. It's that analogy. I want to spend more time on on the antecedent,
Yes.
so I don't have to spend time
On the
regulating them when they're in the middle of a tantrum at Dada's house because
yeah.
I said no, you can't do this and you can't have this. You have to set them up. So instead of saying no, we can't do that, and then that's where it ends,
Mm.
we will say, remember we spoke about this. We're going to do it on Tuesday. And again, it doesn't even have to be, do you remember this? We
Yeah.
can say, we're doing this on Tuesday. We will do it. Yes, we can do it at so and so time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, we will get that at so and so
Mm.
time. Just those simple reminders and that, again,
It's like
positive reinforcement.
reframing the no in a way where it doesn't sound like a no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, oh, we're not naive to think that our children are not growing up with other influences outside of us.
Yeah.
And so between social media and school
Their
and the
friends, yeah.
trends and
Groups.
all this, and you know, all these girls are so sassy now. Like even my one's just like she's just like
Their
she says
character,
mean things
something
to me.
else.
She's
Yeah.
like, I prefer my dad over you. He's my best friend, not you. So we're dealing with all those influences, and that's coming from a household in which I do not let her watch YouTube or
Yeah.
anything or streaming. She will watch a movie here and there, and it's with the guidance. So imagine what we're dealing with. There's so much.
Yeah.
So coming and hitting your child head on with a no, it's just not going to work anymore.
Yeah.
There's a method where you're still saying no, as we said,
Mm.
but you're going to be the winner in the end because you're going to avoid a tantrum. You're going to avoid extreme dysregulation, and they're going to agree to it.
Yeah.
And if I can say something that kind of ties up these main questions as well, is I would love for parents to also really think about the language that they're
Mm.
using with their kids. So we have emotions as adults and as parents and as mums and as working mums. We have a lot
Yeah.
of emotions, okay? But that child cannot be manipulated emotionally. So I would love for parents, again, this is from a behavior analytic perspective. This is talking about how to reinforce and encourage future behaviors. We cannot use emotionally charged terms with them, like, you make me feel sad. That made me feel really low. Like, do you really love me if you did this? I know you're laughing.
Like guilt tripping them. Yeah, yeah. No, I've heard it in the past.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Can I keep doing it anyway?
Okay.
But you're also emotionally manipulating them to try to do something rather than educating them and providing a learning opportunity for them
Yeah.
to do the behavior correctly next
Mm.
time. Like, you don't really love me if you've done this. No, can we stop using these? I love, and these resources will be available to whoever wants them. We have a acceptable behavior chart and an unacceptable behavior
Mm.
chart, and the terms we use even with our own child, because I definitely want to practice what I preach, and I know talking as a clinician, not a mum, but I believe in what I
Yes.
practice.
Yeah.
Right? I will tell my child and the children here. Do you remember hitting is on our unacceptable chart? No, I didn't like that you hit that person. You made that person feel
Yeah, yeah.
so and so. It's unacceptable. That's it. Hitting, kicking, screaming, having a tantrum. I've put them all on the unacceptable board. And that visual representation, it hits children differently. And remember, all these children have different learning profiles. So I think just bombarding them with the information visually, talking to them, living through it, modeling, rehearsing the behavior, it's really
Yeah.
important. And
Has
again, these are
has a
all
huge
behavior analytic.
impact. Yeah.
It's so beneficial.
Well, that was very good. Very, very.
Sometimes I don't even remember the question because I feel like I've just gone off tangent.
So, so it was, yeah, why does my child hit and scream when I say no? But yeah, I still get got it. Right. Word is the trigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like how you gave examples of other ways that the no could have
Yeah.
been said. The next one is related to screen time and discipline. How much screen time is too much
Okay.
screen time?
I'm going to quote the CDC.
Mm.
They have updated their recommendations. So they actually recommend zero screen time for any child that's 0 to 2.
Mhm.
I know that's a little bit unrealistic for parents that have older kids. I understand that. I'm just saying that's the CDC's recommendation. After 2, they say less than 30 minutes to 45 minutes per day
Mm.
for children that are like 2 to 4. I feel like this is such a controversial question, but it had to be asked, right?
Yeah.
I think as a parent, you know in your heart when too much screen time is too much screen time. I want to give you a clinical example. This is an excessive one. I have a client in which they wanted to reduce 8 hours of screen time on the weekend each day. Okay. Mum and dad are working, they're sitting at grandma's house. And that's so relatable because that's so many of us that
Yeah.
our parents have had to step in as
And help.
caregiver, like
100%. Yeah.
almost primary caregivers when we're at work. And this child will refuse to go anywhere without their device. And if they don't get enough device, we will see those tantrums happen. Now, like I said, if you need to do anything like cooking, cleaning, which is such a realistic thing that we do in the day,
Yeah.
set your child up for success. You don't need that screen. Believe me, you do not need to put that screen on. You don't even need a playroom. Most of us cannot have a playroom in our houses. That's not realistic either. And I'm not saying that either. But if you set them up for success, like let's do some drawing, let's do some coloring again, and then reinforce that as part of your token economy, you can do all your cooking and cleaning without them disrupting you for a good hour to 2. As long as you keep giving them a rotation of activities. Yes, the screen time's easier. 100%. Well, it's so much easier.
Yeah.
But if you put in, remember that seesaw analogy, putting more effort into the antecedent is going to ensure that the output of the behavior, the one that you want, is either going to happen, and the one that you don't want, that's not going to happen. So setting them up, like I make a lot of resources for parents, like tracing activities where they feel like it's customized because it's their name is on there, and they get to just keep practicing their name. So really, I'm focusing on their fine motor as well as prep for
No,
school.
and that definitely, like you said, is very modifiable depending on age.
Yes.
So like with my daughters now, they 3 different age groups, and things like Lego or making bracelets, playing with slime,
Yeah.
Play-Doh, all these things, they spend hours doing it. But it's important to put them onto the task
Yes.
because for kids as well, turning on the TV is the easiest thing
Yes.
to do.
They can self-initiate those things,
Yeah.
like iPad,
Yeah.
phone.
It's like the easiest thing
Yeah,
to do.
they
It's
can
like
self-initiate.
no brain. I've got free
Exactly.
time. I'm opening the TV. But
Exactly.
you have to guide them. Hey, there's this. Remember how much you enjoyed doing the Lego last time?
Yeah.
Give them challenges on or like tasks. Like let's see how fast you can do it this time. It really,
Yeah.
they really enjoy it. They just need that initiation.
Yeah, set them up. You can't just start cooking or start your day and then or be like, I have work, go entertain yourself. It's not going to happen no matter how old they get. They're still children. So as you said, setting them up for success in 2 ways. Physically setting them up, like I will get tables ready. And of course, in sessions, we don't use devices.
Yeah.
And the New South Wales Department of Education in early intervention, which is 5 and under, there's supposed to be zero screen time in all the daycares. They're not even supposed to have any screens. This is a more recent change for them as well. So we know our kids can survive without screens. So
As long as they engaged.
you have to engage them. Of course, they're going to nag and have dysregulation, like moments of dysregulation. You have to set your house up for their success. And old school things still work, like having pencils, having a pencil case, having cool smelly pens. Like I just introduced our daughter to the smelly scent pen,
How cute.
and she would just keep going. And we took her out to dinner, and it's unbelievable how many people come up to us and say, how do you not have your child on a device? Because we've been working on it for 3 years that she doesn't have to depend on it.
And also it goes back, there's another important point, the toys that you buy for your kids.
Yes.
So whenever like when they go with my husband, it's a different story. They alter his brain and they let him do whatever they want. But when I go shopping, it's like we're not buying anything sakhif, nothing useless, nothing that's an item that you place and you click a button and they're going to chuck it the next day.
Yeah.
It's temporary enjoyment, and then there's no use from it. So it's like, no, the activity or the toy that we're buying has to be something that we make from. So pottery, like I mentioned, the other examples, there's stitching, all these things where it's like hands-on and there's an outcome, there's an achievement, board games. So obviously kids don't want that option, but as a parent, you have to
Yes. You
monitor
have
the
to
progress
encourage
of
that too,
what
yeah.
is in your house. Because again, if all that you have is teddies and like toys and things that are useless, they're not going to help you when you're stuck wanting to cook and you want the kids to be entertained with something. That's not entertaining at all. If the child is not interested in imaginary play or like doesn't enjoy these things, they're not going to spend time on them. But things that there's a task involved,
Mm.
they're very valuable to have in your home.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Having this concept of cause and effect. So the cause is your child doing something, and then they reap the benefit
There's
of
an
making
outcome.
something.
Yeah.
There's a production of something at the end.
A skill learned, like Mita, she got some stitching toy, where like it was actually complicated. I had to sit and like watch YouTube videos to understand how to do it, because like you put the thread through and then you do a little hoop and then you put it was like so complicated, but she got it. So I taught it to her, she got it,
What a
and she was
beautiful
doing it and
achievement.
she was so proud of herself. Like,
Yeah.
it's, oh my God, mama, I'm doing this. It's such a hard task, but I achieved it. And she wants to do more of it
Yeah.
because it brings that satisfaction.
It is. It's more satisfaction, and they will get more output
Yeah.
doing those types of activities than they would even
Yeah.
an educational program.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's not that I encourage parents. I still let my daughter watch a movie because there's a beginning, middle, and end. When they're watching shows and episodes, there's this concept of continuation.
Yeah.
No. And there's nothing Monday to Friday. And this is the same advice I give to the parents of the clinic. And like we said, this is not just a clinic for children that do have a diagnosis. We have a lot of parents in which they just want that support, that ability to help regulate their children.
Yeah.
Or like we said, there's no direct book on how to parent your own child. So minimize the screen time. I can't tell you have zero screen time. And also I can't tell you to just stop. Remember, your child is used to something. Just snatching that phone or iPad away is going to cause.
That's linking to the next question.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So is taking away the iPad as a punishment helpful or harmful?
It's a very loaded question. So in behavior analysis, negative reinforcement or negative punishment, the concept of that is removing the antecedent from the environment. So on a scientific thing, it is negative punishment because you're withdrawing it.
Yeah.
But there's no point of withdrawing it without replacement. So if you're not going to do a movie on Sunday, then you need to offer your child a different alternative.
Yeah.
Don't withdraw things. Even like, yes, I'm going to call screen time negative. It is because remember, it's also affecting their ability to create melatonin. And melatonin is something that happens naturally in the body. And if we're not creating enough melatonin, your child's not going to sleep. So remember, all of these ADHD-like behaviors are potentially being created by the screen and the food intake, right? So we do have to be very careful. It could be a punishment because you haven't told them why you're taking it away. You introduced a device and now all of a sudden it's gone. So what's the point? So you have to be careful with your approach.
Yeah.
Please try to remove the device if you can, but not without replacement. Like I said, they're going to get way more out of going and running around at the park than sitting down.
100%.
And we're seeing a lot more neck-related injuries because they're just doing this the whole time.
I can imagine.
And not that I want anyone to go to the hospital, but even pediatric wards are seeing less injuries because kids are out less. They're not climbing on trees. They're not like, I remember every couple of months, one of my cousins had a broken arm or a broken finger, and like someone had because they went out and played soccer, they were playing on the.
Plus kids were being kids.
We were out. So, and I mean, we just have to do what's right for our children. I know I'm speaking as a clinician, but it's non-judgmental advice. It's just recommendations. It's really at the end of the day, what's going to work for your family. You have to always assess what's going to work for your family.
Yeah. And linking to the previous question about screen time and how much screen time is too much screen time, I feel like during the term, I struggle less with that because naturally they come home tired, dinner and homework, like lots of homework.
Yeah.
And by the time they finish, it's like bedtime, so off to sleep. But in school holidays, that is a big struggle.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a long day. And if you don't have back-to-back things planned,
Mhm.
you'll naturally find yourself in that rabbit hole where they're watching the screen again, and it can be extended hours. Um, so yeah, it's very important to, like you said, have a replacement.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have to have the replacement in your head as well before, structure it in your day and have whatever you need at home
Yeah,
in order to make it possible, because
absolutely.
it's not something that comes out of nowhere. Yeah.
No, no, just to note on that, Dad does run holiday programs, so that is a great
I did
option
hear
for
that.
parents. For several hours of the day, we run holiday programs because we can anticipate that parents need that support. School is a beautiful thing because it's so stimulating and it really does deplete a lot of their energy. So, yes, by the time they get home, by the time they have dinner and a shower, it's bedtime.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that day portion is being utilized really well at school. But Dad always, every holiday, every end of year, every public holiday, we always are running
That's amazing.
something here.
Yeah.
And like we said, it's not an environment for kids with a diagnosis. It's open to all children. Parents need somewhere safe where they can leave their children for a couple of hours. And like you said, there's a benefit here. It's not like they come and they just play at like a cafe, like the
Yeah.
play centers. I love them too, but
Can you give me some insight into what you usually have in those
oh yes, we would love
sessions?
to. So with currently Vivid being on, every weekend we have a Vivid workshop for a couple of hours. We focus on sensory input and regulation through those types of workshops. We also have cooking programs, which is so gorgeous. It's
Yeah.
really important to give them those functional life skills and just set them up early. So we have cooking programs, we have social skills programs because we want and this not again, it's not for you don't have friends. It's just a great way to meet other like-minded families and have an opportunity to talk. Parents can go hang out outside, and kids are given activities where they have to partner up and do things. And it's really encouraging.
Yeah. It
We
breaks barriers and
yeah,
shyness. That's a big issue
exactly.
with
And we run
my
our
label.
workshops a little bit smaller than like a school classroom number where they could get lost between the 20 or 30 kids that might be in the classroom. So we usually run them from anywhere from 5 to 10 kids, just depending. And if it's going to be more than 5, we usually have a couple of clinicians in there with them. But we also run book club. I would have loved that. And obviously, I would like if I had to do that too. But it's just a great way to talk about appropriate books that parents also find comfortable. And then we do some comprehension on it. Like, what did you learn by reading this chapter? What happened? What are the main characters?
It's beautiful. Like, so it's behavior and education through play.
Exactly.
That's amazing because I'm always on a hunt for school activity programs. And a lot of the times they're booked out or like they're out of the area.
Be limited.
Yeah, very limited spaces and limited availabilities and stuff. So I will be definitely checking out the school holiday programs you
Welcome you
offer.
with open arms and the
Thank you
girls
so much.
open up.
My girls and I did come here. Was it a month ago?
I feel like, yeah.
Ago? And we did see the space that you have for the kids and the sensory room and the movie section and all these things, and my girls loved it. Like for them, they still speak about it. They're
I
like,
can't
"Can
wait
we
to have them
please
back.
go back to that place where it was like we were playing, but then we were also doing this, but like they have that room and like they loved it so much. So yeah, you'll be seeing more a lot.
We'd love to have you for all families to feel welcome. You did remind me we do have movie nights here and movie
Yes.
day because
Yeah.
we have a big projector, but there's a purpose to the film. And after watching the film, they do have to do an activity, and we do want to supply them with like healthy snacks during the movie. But again, everything we do, whilst it seems fun on the outside,
Loaded with meaning. Yeah, I get it. I get it. As I
Absolutely.
home preschooled my daughters, so I was always searching. This is before I even became a teacher. Always searching for learning through play.
Yeah.
So using the plate or using, like you said, baking or whatever it is. So the kids don't see that, oh, we're learning something or our behavior is changing or, they don't see that. But subconsciously,
Yes.
they are achieving something by the end of the
Absolutely.
activity.
Yeah,
And
I love
it's like
that.
the best way to teach kids.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
love it. Yeah.
And like I feel like term 2 is coming to an end soon already.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's 3 weeks. I feel like I'm like Fariha's not even at school, but I always feel like it's come around too quickly. So we'll definitely post some dates and and the types of activities that we do, and it's something different every day. Like, the
Yeah.
kids are also not gonna wanna come do the same movie or the same
Repetitive, yeah.
activity, and yes, we have a beautiful sensory room, so again, those sensory seekers can have as much input as they want without parents having to go to the city or Luna Park with
Yeah.
that same.
Where it is very overstimulating, and you feel like it's not really safe sometimes.
Yes. And sometimes parents need a moment for themselves. I
Mhm.
mean this with all respect. Parents do need to feel like you can leave your child here and have a coffee, and you're not really leaving anywhere.
That's
You might
amazing.
just sit outside and
Yeah.
have a coffee, or you might go to the cafe and just
Mhm.
have an hour or two
Yeah.
with your partner.
The piece of
Remember, when it's so important for parents to remain connected because you're sharing the responsibility of these kids.
yeah.
So the partnership needs to be nurtured as well.
100%. I totally agree. And sometimes you forget that. Like, you forget that it's like you're both existing, but
Yeah.
you're not really, I don't know, you're not giving each other the time that you both need.
Yeah.
So it's important to take that time away from kids sometimes and nurture the relationship in order to
Absolutely.
nurture the children.
Having day dates are really important. I mean, just having time just for you two is really important, or just having you time is
Mm.
really important. Like, we have a mum that likes to come and drop her kids off for 2, 3 hours and does something for herself. And I said, please keep doing that. They all come back re-energized
Feels
and
so good.
ready,
Yeah.
ready for the next 5, 6 hours with their kids. And it's the best version of themselves.
All right. So about parenting fatigue, what do I do when I'm just too tired to parent the way I want to?
Of course. All I can say is preparation. One of the biggest things is preparation. So when we're not tired is the best time to get things ready. As you were saying as well,
Yeah.
it's not just going to come off the top of your head. Um, we'll be launching way more resources for parents to get ideas from. I know you and I have spoken about our social media needing to
Yeah.
have more things on there for parents that we do here.
No, no, I mentioned last time I saw Layla, I'm like, you guys do amazing work, like in real life, but your social media needs to reflect that. Like, I want to be able to see it on social media because, mashallah, like the things that she mentioned and she showed me, I was like, this is impressive. And again, like we said, social media is such a powerful tool for you to reach an audience that you wouldn't otherwise be able to reach.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yes,
I'll
promise.
support you on
I
this
promised
journey.
Bella I was gonna get on that. I have been. I've been putting more of our work, and I've been trying to be way more active.
There are some trends
Yeah,
I've been posted.
I've been trying. See, I've been getting there. So we will put way more things for parents to do. Something that I do and I clinically recommend is have a resource bag. Especially if you're going to go out and maybe you're out having dinner because you're tired, too tired to cook. Have a resource bag. Things like books, coloring pens, again, things that will interest your child.
Or make it more personalized. My girls usually suggest this, alhamdulillah, when they're in the mood. They each take a bag, like either yani a backpack for Ida or like a fancy bag for Layla, and they put all their like their slime and their fidgets and their squishies and their coloring pencils with this little like coloring pad. So they pack their own things that they know they'll be interested in doing. And when we get to the restaurant, they literally take them out and they enjoy doing them while waiting for dinner.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's
And then
also,
that way they're accountable. You chose these activities, you engage in them.
yeah.
That's really, really important.
It's very exciting for them actually
Yeah.
carrying something like their personal belongings
Exactly. It's
out.
the
And
cause and effect concept
yeah,
again. It's the I packed this, I'm going to do this, and now I've produced this.
yeah,
So you, no one's saying to be prepared when you're tired. It's too late when you're tired. You just have to put the effort in ahead of time. Like cooking, I can't just come home and then
decide
just do it
no,
and start everything from
no, you
scratch.
definitely need the preparation. You need to buy the ingredients. You need to have the time. Yeah,
Yeah, just prepare. You're tired, we're all tired, 100%. Every parent is tired. But if you can just prepare ahead of time, you're not gonna parent while tired.
yeah, and you'll be able to allocate. Okay, like now I'm not bothered. I can't do anything.
Exactly.
Layla, you know this. You've got this activity. You can do that. Or yeah,
Exactly.
allocate.
Designate them areas and be like, that's your corner. I have that concept as well as calming corner or time out areas. And that's where you can go and have a bit of a you time, debrief, go through what you got to do in those spaces.
Amazing. That was so good.
Have any more rapid firing questions for me?
I think
Or
we
you're
are
gonna
done
take it
with the
easy on me now?
questions. Yeah.
Beautiful. I guess we wanted to thank Willa for coming again.
Thank you.
She's such a beautiful presence in person and online, and I'm just so honored to have
No,
a
wallah,
relationship with her
the
now.
honor's mine, wallah.
It's beautiful, and it's not always the case to meet such beautiful people. So
100%.
alhamdulillah,
I can say the same about you, wallah.
it's been beautiful, and I can't wait for your daughters to come back. I have
Yeah.
something special
Yeah.
set up
Plans.
for them.
That's exciting.
I guess I just wanted to end with, please come. Don't worry about diagnosis. We don't want to label. Behavior analysis as well does not focus on labeling. We have great after school programs, Saturday programs, and holiday programs. So please come. We also do speech therapy here. We also have things like dietetics and exercise programs as well. So we don't, I know I'm a bit biased with loving and being obsessed with behavior analysis, but our clinic is a pediatric clinic. We do see teenagers and adults, but we do specialize in pediatrics. So please give us a call or email or hit us up on Instagram. We do have it. Okay.
Yes. It's looking
We
really
do,
good.
we do have it now. It's way more active.
Yeah.
And I guess the other thing is, we'd like to make a call out for anyone who wants to work in behavior analysis, speech therapy, exercise, dietetics. It's just such a welcoming environment, so embracive of everyone. Come and do what you need to do, practice what you want to practice. There's no judgment here. We have a great supervisor team, even supervisors out there that want jobs in the
That's
new
amazing.
environment.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, if I had studied anything in the field, I would definitely be applying here. Like, mashallah, the center is beautiful, like design wise, and the people that work here, like it's very
Everyone-
friendly. It's very nice. Yeah.
we've worked very hard to make a center for both children, family, and our team to come. Um, we also want return to work mums to feel very welcome. They can work from home a bit. They can do community based therapy. So there's no limitation to our collaboration and
Like very
customization.
flexible and
flexibility.
understanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing, mashallah.
come on board, parents and future team members. I know that's going to come back soon, and we'll definitely show off the
Yeah.
clinic a bit more in the next time. So stay tuned, everyone.
Inshallah.
Thank you again, Willa.
Thank you
It's
for
been a
having me.
blessing. Thank you.
We'll see you.